Everyone, welcome back. This is Esther here. I hope you are doing great and safe and well during this pandemic. Today we're going to be starting with chapter 3, coordinate geometry, and this is the introduction video to this whole chapter in which we'll be completing all the concepts and we'll be discussing about each of these concepts in detail. So let's get going. Please take your paper, your pencil, notebook, whatever you need in order to make notes. So let's get going. So the first thing that we're going to be seeing is a Cartesian system, and under the Cartesian system we have the first point as the Cartesian plane. So what is this Cartesian system? Let's understand. So this Cartesian plane, okay, or which is also called as plane or even coordinate plane. So this Cartesian plane has three names. One is Cartesian plane itself, the other is plane, and then we have coordinate plane. Okay, this Cartesian plane is basically defined by two perpendicular number lines. What are these number lines? That is the x-axis and the y-axis. So a Cartesian is defined by two perpendicular number lines, a horizontal line x-axis and a vertical line y-axis. So this image which you can see in this horizontal line which you can see is the x-axis, clear? And this vertical line which you can see, this is the y-axis. So Cartesian plane is nothing but a combination of these two axes, that is the x and y axes. Clear? Next, moving on. These lines are called coordinate axes. So that means this x-axis and y-axis are called as are called as coordinate axes. Okay, so x and y axes are also called as coordinate axes, and this Cartesian plane extends infinitely in all directions. What does that mean? Meaning from the right hand side it extends endlessly towards this direction, from the left hand side in this direction, from bottom this direction, and from above this direction. So it just keeps extending. Okay, now I hope we understood what is a Cartesian plane. Simple thing is that is the x and y axis. That's all. Now the next thing that we want to learn is the intersection of these two axes. So intersection means a point at which two lines intersect basically. So that point is here, as you can see. This is the point, and we call this point as the origin. Okay, origin, and this origin is the place where the coordinate axes intersect each other at right angles, meaning the angle here is 90 degrees. The point of intersection of these two axes is called the origin. So simple thing only. I hope it is clear. And by the way, at the origin the coordinates are 0, 0. Now what is this coordinate? Let's check it out, but before that let us understand what is a quadrant. Now you see that these two axes intersect each other and they divide the page into four halves, right? Like this is the first half, this is the second half, third half, and fourth half. Four quarters, not halves, four quarters, right? So the two axes, that is the x and y axes, crisscross to form four quadrants. Okay, so quadrants are nothing but the the place that is formed when two axes crisscross each other. Okay, so we have four quadrants, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and remember always that the order is like this. This is first, this is second, this is third, and this is fourth. Never can this quadrant become the second and this can become the third, or this the fourth and this the first. No, it is always in this direction. Okay, it is always in this direction, meaning this is always going to be the first, second, third, and fourth quadrants. Clear? We have learned how to represent quadrants in a graph sheet, right? So now we shall see how to represent a point on this Cartesian plane. Okay, so using the coordinate axes, that is the x and y axes, we can describe any point in the plane using an ordered pair pair of numbers. Okay, so here I just have a graph right in front of you where I've just written the axes and then I've written the quadrants as well. So now we shall see the next point. A particular point is represented by an ordered pair x comma y. So basically this ordered pair we call that as a coordinate. Okay, so this ordered pair, each of these is called as a coordinate. Okay, now in this ordered pair x comma y, we call this x coordinate as the abscissa. What do we call it? We call it as the abscissa, and then we call this y coordinate as the ordinate. Clear? Got it? So the coordinate points will define the location in the Cartesian plane. The first point x in the coordinates represents the horizontal axis, and the second point in the coordinates y represents the vertical axis. Might sound difficult the moment I'm like reading it, but don't worry, we'll sort out this definition. What it is, we will understand. Okay, cool. So it means that, see, suppose I am saying here in this graph sheet, let's say I want to plot this point. Okay, now this point, if I want to write the coordinates of this point, how will I write? It will be of the form x comma y, right? But this is not how I write on a graph sheet. I cannot just write x comma y. In fact, I will write the x coordinate and the y coordinate, meaning that particular number in the place of x comma y. So what will the number be? As you can see on this x coordinate will be the number which is lying on the x axis. So here you can see that it is 3, but whereas for the y coordinate it is 2, right? So 3 comma 2. So basically this point, okay, has the x coordinate as 3 and y coordinate as 2. Now suppose let's say you have a question where you have to plot 5 comma 4. Okay, 5 comma 4 plotted on the graph sheet. Now let's see how to plot this. Okay, 5 comma 4. Now looking at this coordinate, you must have probably understood that the very first coordinate is a x coordinate, meaning this first number will lie on the x axis, right? So this 5 will come here, right? And you also are able to see that the y coordinate is nothing but 4, so that means it will be this particular number. Now how will you point this how will you plot this this whole coordinate on the Cartesian plane? Basically you need to just make this dotted line from the y coordinate and similarly from the x coordinate. The point where these two lines intersect can be said that this is the particular point that represents the coordinates 5 comma 4. Clear? You understood how to plot? Let's take another example. Suppose I have to say 0 comma 0, plot this. You all know that the origin has the coordinates 0 comma 0. We studied that in the beginning, right? So that means the point where the two axes intersect is called as the origin. So here you get to see that the coordinates are 0 comma 0. Clear? So I hope this coordinate thing is clear, how to plot it and all is clear. Now let us see the points, or not the points, I mean the signs of the quadrants. See, not in all quadrants you will get to see such positive coordinates. Somewhere you might get to see -2 comma 3, then -3 comma 3, then -4 comma 5, 5 comma -4. Like this you can get to see so many coordinates. Yes, so we cannot represent all these coordinates in one particular quadrant, like quadrant 1 or quadrant 2 or quadrant 3 or quadrant 4. Basically we can represent these coordinates in their respective quadrants. And how do we know where to represent which coordinates, or in which quadrant do we need to represent which coordinates? For that we need to know the signs of the coordinates of points in different quadrants. What does that mean? Meaning if there is a point plotted in the second coordinate, I mean second quadrant, you can always be assured that the sign of the x coordinate will be minus and the sign of the y coordinate will be plus. And if you point a point here in the fourth quadrant, you can be assured that the x coordinate will always be uh, positive and the y coordinate will always be negative. So these signs will not change, and we shall see those signs now. Clear? So let's just see those signs now. Now the first quadrant, okay, has the x coordinate sign as positive, and the y coordinate sign is also positive, meaning any point which is plotted in this region, okay, in this region will always have x coordinate as positive and y coordinate is also positive. Then also you can get to see that in the second quadrant the x coordinate will be negative but the y coordinate will be positive. Okay, y coordinate will be positive. So that means the points here on the x axis will be negative, but the points on the y axis will always be positive. Next comes your third quadrant. In the third quadrant, the x coordinate will be negative, whereas the y quadrant will be negative as well. So the x coordinate is negative, y coordinate is also negative. Now, in the last but not the least, in the fourth quadrant, the x coordinate is positive and the y coordinate is negative. X is positive, y is negative. Clear? Now you all might be confused that how do I remember all these things, all the signs and all. It is quite a bit confusing, isn't it? So let me just show you how to do that. Now let me erase this ink here. Always remember that for plotting any coordinate on the graph sheet, the very first thing that you need to do is draw the x and y axes. Okay, so how will you draw it? Basically, if your graph sheet is like this, let's suppose, right, this is how your graph sheet looks like, right? You need to draw a vertical straight line which will be your y-axis, and a horizontal straight line which will be your x-axis. Simple, you understood y-axis and x-axis. Now remember that there will always be a positive and a negative x and y-axis, meaning we're all talking about the same x-axis only, but there is a positive side and a negative side to this x-axis, meaning on the right side of the this horizontal axis you can get to see that all the coordinates will be positive, just like we discussed, but whereas on the left hand side all the x coordinates will be negative. Simple way to remember. Okay, so this will be positive, this will be negative. Similarly, even for the y axis you can see that the upper part, okay, the first half will be having a y coordinates as positive, always positive. This will never change, guys, remember. Okay, whereas the second half, okay, beneath the origin, you can get to say that the y axis will always have negative coordinates. Okay, negative coordinates. Clear? So this is a very simple way to plot the two axes. Now after that you're still confused that, oh my god, what are the signs of the quadrants? Don't worry, you need to write the way I've written here. In fact, if you're not able to remember what are the signs of the quadrant, simple thing in the exam hall also, on the side of your question paper, you can just quickly draw two lines, then plot the points on the x-axis and then even on the y-axis, and then after that you all know that this is the first quadrant, this is the second quadrant, this is the third quadrant, and this is the fourth quadrant, right? And now you know that by looking here itself you can tell that this portion has sorry, I'm so sorry, Okay, it got erased, I'm sorry, but you can tell that, you know, this is always positive, right? After plotting you can definitely tell that the right hand side is positive and here also negative, then this is also positive. So write down that this is positive, negative there itself, like this, positive. Here also write positive. Now here negative, and here also positive. Now similarly here it will be -1, -2, -3 and -4. So this will be what? Negative, right? Here also write negative. Now easy way, how can you write the signs of the coordinates? By just looking here. See, x-axis has positive, so plus sign will come. Y-axis having again positive coordinates, so this will be positive. Here you can get to see negative, so this will be negative, I mean minus sign. Then y-axis is positive. Similarly here we can get to see negative, this is positive. You're able to see my pointer? I know it's very small, sorry about that, but I still hope you're able to see it. I think so, right? Yeah. And then for the fourth quadrant you can get to see x is positive and y is negative. Clear, simple way to plot these signs. I hope it is clear. I'm sure as you keep plotting graphs, right, you will immediately remember the signs, and it's very important to know the coordinate quadrants signs. Why? Because in exam they can ask what is the sign of the coordinates of the second quadrant. If you're not able to remember, just plot it and then you can write down the signs. Okay, you don't need to feel ashamed that, oh, I'm not able to remember. So we learned how to plot all these points basically, right? Now you can now easily plot the numbers also, right? You can easily plot the numbers. Suppose, now let me just plot this. Can you tell me what are the coordinates of this point? This will be 2 here. See, draw these dotted lines. You can get to see 2 comma 2 here. Then suppose let's take another one, this point. Always draw dotted line towards the x-axis from the point, and then from this point towards the y-axis draw a dotted line. And here you can see that the dotted line intersects the x-axis at 6. Here it intersects the y-axis at -4. So it will be -6 comma, sorry, +6 comma -4. That is the coordinates, right? So simple thing that is. I hope it is clear to you. And also I wanted to ask you another thing, that do you think that I should teach you in English, Hindi or Tamil? Let me know in the comments down below which do you find more comfortable, or what do you prefer more than English, because many of us do not know English that well, but your mother tongue or maybe the second language would be a little bit better, right? So you guys tell me your suggestions in the comment section down below. I'm waiting for your comments. And if you like this video, please make sure to like, share and subscribe to my channel. And I think that's all for this introduction today. What and all we learned, quickly let's just summarize. In this introduction video we understood what is a Cartesian plane, what are the coordinate axes, the positive, negative, then positive and negative x and y axes respectively. And another thing I want to tell you, that always this positive x axis is called as the x axis only, but negative x axis is called as x dash. When we plot it, I'm saying, okay, x dash. Next, similarly for the positive y axis, it will be positive y axis, I mean just be y only, but for the negative y axis it will be y dash. Okay, how do you say this? It's not x raised to the power of 1 or y raised to the power of 1, no, it is x dash and y dash. Clear? Then these axes are called as the coordinate axes. They all intersect, these two axes intersect at a point called as the origin. Then the coordinates here are 0 comma 0, I told you. Then these two axes intersect to form four quadrants, quadrant 1, 2, 3 and 4 respectively, and the signs of the quadrants are plus comma plus, minus comma plus, minus comma minus, plus comma minus respectively. Clear? Then we also learned how to construct a Cartesian plane, all the numbers, the axes and the coordinates, and how to memorize the plus, minus, basically the signs of the coordinates. And we learned what is a coordinate as well, right? Simple thing we learned. And we also learned what is the abscissa and ordinate. Remember guys, the abscissa and ordinate is very important. X comma y, this is how always a coordinates are written, and always remember the x coordinate will come first and then the y coordinate. We call the x coordinate as abscissa and the y coordinate as ordinate. Clear? And then we just learned all of this. And the x coordinate represents the x axis, y coordinate represents the y axis, or the point on the y axis and x axis. Clear? So these are the points that we have to learn in this chapter. Simple thing. I hope you understood this coordinate geometry introduction video. If you have any doubts, please let me know in the comment section down below. I'll be privileged and happy to answer all your comments down below. So if you like this video, again, please make sure to like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much guys for watching, and in the next video, remember, we'll be starting with the exercise